One of the richest people on earth said, the best way to deal with poverty is chicken farming. That's Bill Gates. Yeah, so I want you to listen to that carefully. And in that space, you have an opportunity in the whole farming arena. I have listened to Adesina many times, and he says the next billionaires will be billionaires around farming. I've heard you say that, Adesina. Have you changed your mind?
No, it's true.
It's true. He says he still believes it is. So that is the space that not only gives us an opportunity to have a globe that is food secure, but also creates real value, real jobs, real enterprises, and real wealth, if I may say that, real wealth. So the investments are modest. The technology is available on what you need to do. Raw materials are local, and the technology, including know-how, is also local. Chicken farming is not something new. It's been here for us for decades. And the markets are also available. In fact, chicken is the cheapest source of protein. So if you're looking for the cheapest source of protein, do chicken farming. And if you're looking at sustainability, that you need to get the easiest, the cheapest route to making sure that we have the proteins to support our growth. And in any case, let me conclude by saying 25% of the world's labor force will come from the African continent by 2030. 40% of the world's workforce will come from the African continent by 2050. That world labor force has to be healthy and fed. And that is why chicken farming is central to us providing cheap proteins, healthy living for the future labor force, and that is the young people of our continent. I am also encouraged that the young people of our continent are stepping forward boldly to say we don't want to be bystanders. We do not want to be attendees of conferences and ushers in places. We want to participate. We have ideas. We have suggestions. We have positions that we can, perspectives that we can present on the one single challenge that faces humanity and that threatens our future. And the young people being the greatest stakeholders of that future, you are rightly in place to make suggestions about this existential threat that affects not just our present, but also threatens our future, where you are the greatest stakeholders. Where are we taking this into the global stage? What financing are we looking for? It is the reason why we are saying today, our debt as a continent is in the region of $700 billion. We are paying every year about $70 billion in terms of servicing interest and servicing debt. Many countries are going down the route of debt distress. Already, 9 countries in Africa are down the cliff. 13 are classified as high risk. Another 17 are classified as a moderate risk. Debt distress is a big juggernaut that is threatening the future of our continent and the future of our development and prosperity. Number 2, we need to think about new and design, let me say, design new financing instruments. And I'm very happy that the young people in this Africa Youth Summit 2023 have said we need a green bank where more voices, more those of us who are not represented in the current multilateral development banks, we are not represented at the moment, where we will be represented, where we will have a voice, where the young people of our continent, the greatest stakeholders of our continent, will have a voice. That is where we need to take this. We need to reform the current multilateral development banks, and we need to redesign a new green bank that makes sure that we have resources that not only fund our growth and green development, but it is done so fairly, it is done so with speed, and it is done so with affordable interest. In fact, I dare say, like we say in Kenya, mambo ni matatu. Number one, it must be with speed. It takes inordinate time to access credit. Number two, it must be at scale. Sometimes you get little monies here and there that cannot make any meaning. And number three, it must be affordable. So it must be, number one, it must be with speed, it must be at scale, and it must be affordable. Mambo ni matatu.
How can we mobilize international resources and support to address the increased vulnerabilities in our continent and empower our young and local communities?
The realization that we are a young continent, and I like what the president of the African Development Bank has said, investing in our shareholders. The largest shareholders of Africa is the young people. What must we do? We must continuously invest in the young people, number one, in their education. In Kenya, for example, this year, we had the largest budget, 630 billion Kenya shillings, the largest since independence, to fund our education. Because that creates young people in Kenya who have the requisite knowledge, who can articulate their issues, who can drive their growth. That's number one. Making sure that they are skilled. This year, we doubled the budget for our TVETs, for our technical and evaluation. We doubled the budget almost, maybe we actually increased by 70% for our universities. Again, to invest in our young people so that they are ready to tackle the challenges of the future. And number three, what Adesina said, investing and believing in young people, not looking at them as part of the problem, but looking at them as part of the solution, not looking at them as risky, not looking at them with the eyes of they don't have collateral. It is the reason we are going to invest. We've already started the journey. We've invested the first 15 billion. We have another 10 billion this year that we are investing in making sure that young people have access to credit. The Hustler Fund in Kenya, 67% of the borrowers on the Hustler Fund are below the age of 35. The Hustler Fund today has lent 35 billion. And I saw one of the newspapers say the other day that the government, that 3 billion has not been paid. That is true. But 3 billion out of 35 billion lent, I would take another risk with the young people of Kenya. I would do it again. I would do it again. Because slowly, we are turning the corner. The Hustler Fund today does not need any collateral. You don't have to know nobody. You don't have to know your village head, or you don't have to have a fat relative or a tall friend. You just need a phone and yourself. And I have kept on saying, you need a committee of two, your phone and yourself. And you have access to some measure of credit. We're scaling it up now by another 10 billion shillings. And it speaks to what Adesina was saying, investing in the ideas of our young people.